Good evening everybody, my name is Oseh and tonight we're playing Farm Sim 19 on Field Mountain and the canola and soybeans are ready to harvest. I'm probably not going to hang around and do that. Yes, that without smashing up the front. Huh? Yeah, can't you get to the... Yeah, that's the side you hook it up from. You shouldn't be able to. Soybeans don't straw. Neither does canola, so... Hello, Hail Team. How you doing? Oh wow, this tractor's actually got 28 hours on it. I think that's more than mine. Beam over here. Hey long caller. Hang on a sec. Okay, sorry about that. Again with Childs not being in bed. So we're going to be maximising our income for a little while. I'm going to fertilise field 1, which could take quite a while. Especially if I keep crashing into the fence post because there's too much weight on the back of the tractor. Ooh. Let's take it easy. Oh, good grief. Come on, I know you can do it, just. Probably have accepted their offer of a large tractor with a spreader, a spray. This is tough. Okay. I'll do this field up and down this way, I think. That's probably a big miss on the right. Oh, that's going to be fun. So how did you find it so far? It's close enough. Which map are you doing as well? Oh. Oh, Mercury. Cool. And obviously all the fields are reset to nothing on them. How many days are you playing per season? I never played seasons on Mercury. Oh, I never played Mercury Farm on 17, should I say. Sneaking through the trees, I can't see a darn thing. There we go. Oops, forwards. I know with 3 days per season it can get very hectic, and obviously at the beginning with much more than 6 it can get kind of boring. Although what I did on Lawfolds was spend most of the first year chopping down trees between the field work. And that is a good source of income. And then Mercury's got a bunch of forests on it, which in 17 you don't have to purchase. Okay. So that means you're going to be... It's going to take 3 days to make silage. Whether it's baled or what's it? Put in a bunker. How am I doing? I missed a whole bit there. Missed a tiny bit there. But the other thing you'll find out is that animals don't... Their feed requirements are based on a season. So if it calculates that, say, your cows need 9,000 litres of TMR, it'll work up 1,000 litres per day on 9-day seasons. It would be 1,500 on 6-day seasons and 3 on 3-day seasons. So the food scales by the number of days, but you always use the same amount of food per season, regardless of how many days in a season. And while you have to feed them every 3 days, 3? Yeah, you have to feed them every 3 days. The longer the season, the less time, the less feed you have to do each feeding session. But you are going to have a lot of downtime. The other option you do have is not to play in real time. Play times 5 or times 15. What did I just hit? A rock there. Oh no. It's a tiny tree stump. And you can make time. Where's the stripes there? By obviously the first year you're kind of tied in because you need to plough and plant everything as soon as you can. But at the end of the first year you can basically do what I do on law folds, which is once you've harvested a field, you can be out there ploughing it, planting some oilseed radish, and leaving it over the winter. And that gets you one level of fertilisation, which is one less thing you have to do the next year. And it's actually, it's kind of useful doing oilseed radish because it's a lot cheaper than using solid or liquid fertiliser. And it's not like the field has to, the field has to take downtime. So it's not like you're losing any growth time. That way? Probably that way. Because you can't grow anything over the winter anyway. For animals that need grass product, make sure you have a good supply on the last day of fall, because they are going to have to wait until the end of spring before you can mow anything, because the grass all dies out first day of winter. Now I have heard for 19 that's not a definite thing. Crops will die out if the season's too, the temperature gets too cold. but if the temperature stays fairly temperate, then you won't lose crop, you won't lose grass. But that would require a geo, because I think Seasons geo is basically based sort of middle Europe. It works for southern England. It doesn't work well for sort of Sweden, Scotland, those sorts of places which tend to have shorter summers and colder winters. And then if you go down to sort of closer to the tropics, you want a different geo that basically you can plant stuff all year round, because there's never a non-growing season. So how am I doing? We're doing fairly well, and we've not used half a tank yet. I think we got a bit fortunate with the birds that are chacked up under our deck. When we had the deck demolished on Thursday, Friday, we discovered there was a bird's nest with a couple of, or 3 babies in it. Well, by Saturday morning, one of the babies was gone. Don't know what happened to it, but I don't expect much in the way of foul play there. But the rest of the weekend, they really weren't doing much. But I looked out this morning and they were fairly well grown. But as soon as one of the workers climbed up on his ladder and peered over the edge of the nest, both the babies jumped out and completely failed to fly. Mum got really mad with everybody, but she managed to shepherd the babies over to the hedgerow at the edge of the property, and we assume if they don't get eaten, they're probably going to make it. Maybe next year we'll put up a bird box, or nesting box, so they can live in that. That is not done at all. There are loads of gaps in that. We're 87% done. So if I do that bit there, and then we'll have to use the map to figure out where the lampposts are. Okay, so that's that bit. I need to go up to about here. I've gone too far. I think what I did at that point was I actually sprayed the edge part of it. So I did something like that to get more of a patch done. And that's done. Wend our way to the next break in the fertiliser. Potentially about here. That looks good. And the shadows are a problem. Spin it all the way around and turn it off. There we go. So that's all done in that section. Right at the end of here, we missed everything. Not that this is particularly wide, or the way we're doing it long. And that should do that bit. Okay, how are we doing on this? 91%. The next row is full length of the field. Width of the field, whatever we're doing, I don't know. And once again, exactly the right place. Been playing some off-stream World of Warships today. And, oh man, have I ended up with some bad teams. I ended up in one game, I'm driving a Cleveland Tier 8 light cruiser. And I ended up in a Tier 10 game where everybody was Tier 10 except the aircraft carrier, one battleship, one cruiser. So I'm one of 3 players on my team that are Tier 8. Everybody else is Tier 10. And I topped out the experience by a sizable margin. Which was a tad sad. Okay, what are we doing now? I think I probably want to do that bit there and that bit there. That was only 2%. Oof. Okay, let's try that and see how that goes. The mod contest stuff should be... The contest itself is now closed for entries. So they've received all the mods, so they're now going to be doing some internal testing. Personally, I doubt we will see any mod releases over the next couple of days while they test all the... Oops, too far. All the mod contest entries. Then... sometime shortly later, there should be a massive drop of mods for PC only, and you're encouraged to download many of them and then vote on the ones you think are the best. Don't know how far I'll get with that, because obviously I've got a streaming schedule to keep up. Now we might have the opportunity to lease some equipment on a farm that has a little bit more money, although I don't really have one of those. I'm not really, no, my stream's not really known as a mod demo stream. However, I will use mods and DLC as soon as is possible, at least for stuff that interests me. Okay. So, for example, using the Anderson DLC, this was kind of the first chance I got to do that on this farm. But a lot of the damn, 98%. Good grief. Looks like there's a little bit down there. If I go down there, we'll see. But there should be a fair number of maps available, and then equipment. So it's also possible I might take a little break from, say, one of my farms in a week and have a look at some of the mods instead. Or I might do... Saturday's not going to be good this week, I'll give you that much, because it's multiple kids weekend. I could do that. Okay. So somewhere just after this tree, pretty much here, and heading north. The actual bit I've missed is way on the right hand side of this. Oh, contract finished. No, turn off, turn off. There we go. No contracts available. And I didn't use an entire... Well, that's not an entire, but I didn't even lose 2,000 litres. An ATS stream with music. Yeah, I'll see how that goes.